Hi, 7th grade. If you're watching this video, it means you are a penguin for today. We're going to continue our practice with solving two-step equations to prepare for our next benchmark. So the only thing different about what we're doing today is we're going to also add distributing before we simplify and then solve our two-step equations. So example 1, I've got 3 parentheses x plus 1 is equal to 21. Now, anytime I see parentheses, the first thing I have to do is undo those parentheses and simplify my expression. When I see parentheses, I know that I'm distributing. When I'm distributing, I'm just multiplying this outside term, the number right outside the parentheses, to each term inside my set of parentheses. So I'm going to draw my arrows so I know exactly where I'm distributing my 3. Now, this is my first step, so I'm going to rewrite my simplified expression. 3 times x is just 3x. 3 times positive 1 is just positive 3. And then I just bring down my equal sign and bring down my number after my equal sign because nothing has changed with that so far. So now I have 3x plus 3 is equal to 21. And this should look, this is exactly what we were working on yesterday when we were just solving basic two-step equations. So now, goal when I'm solving equations is to just get x on its own, or whatever my variable is. So I have x here. Now, I have a constant on the same side of my equal sign that I need to get rid of before I can solve for x. I have positive 3. I need to do the inverse operation to get rid of it. So I'm going to subtract 3. What I do on one side of my equal sign, I have to do on my other. I'm not touching my variable yet, or the coefficient in front of my variable. I'm just getting rid of my number that's without a variable. So positive 3 and negative 3 cancel out. That's what we want. We want to simplify our expression. So we've got 3x is equal to 21 minus 3, 18. Now this is a one-step equation. I want to get x on its own. When I have a number right up next to a variable, it's multiplication. So I need to do the opposite, which is division. Divide both sides by 3, and x is equal to 6. And that's my final answer. Go ahead and pause the video, and you're going to do example 2 on your own, following the same steps that we did together. When you finish that, press play, and you'll check your answer with mine. Okay, example 2. We're going to go through this one quickly. 2x plus 4 is equal to 12. So I have parentheses. I'm going to draw my arrows so I know where I'm distributing. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 4 is 8. Equal to 12. I want to get x on its own. So I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides because I want to cancel those out. 2x is equal to 4. Divide both sides by 2, and x is equal to 2. Make sure that your paper looks like my board and all of your steps are correct. If you made a little mistake, you need to change that so you don't make the same mistake in the next problem we do. All right. Example number 3. This one is a little bit different because we see there's some negatives. Negative 7 is x minus 1 is equal to 21. Nothing's changed. The first thing I need to do is distribute the number outside of my parentheses. So I'm going to draw my arrows. Now, negative 7 times x is just negative 7x because we assume there's a 1 in front of this x, and negative 7 times 1 is just negative 7, right? So negative 7x, and now negative 7 times negative 1, because I always need to look at the operation sign in front of that second term in my parentheses. A negative times a negative becomes a positive. Those are just our rules for multiplying and dividing negative and positive numbers. So negative times a negative becomes positive, and then 7 times 1 is 7. So that equal to 21. Okay? So now this is just our basic two-step equation. I want to get x on its own, so I need to do the inverse operation. Subtract 7 from both sides. My 7s cancel out. I'm left with negative 7x. That negative sign stays there. Negative 7x is equal to 21 minus 7, 14. So now I want to get x on its own. This is just a one-step equation that we're going to solve now. In order to do that, I need to divide both sides by my coefficient, the number in front of my variable. Now, if it's negative 7 up here, I also need to divide the bottom by negative 7 because I want them to cancel out to equal 1. What I do to the left side, I have to do to the right. So x is equal to negative, because a positive divided by a negative is a negative, 2, because 14 divided by 7 is 2. So my answer is x equals negative 2. Pause the video, do example 4 on your own. When you're finished, press play and we'll check it together. Okay. All right, example 4, negative 2 times x minus 4 is equal to 16. Now you should just be checking your work with mine because you will have done this problem on your own now. Draw my arrows. Negative 2x plus, because it's negative times a negative, is equal to 16. Want to get x on its own? So I'm subtracting 8 from both sides. My 8's cancel out. Negative 2x is equal to 8, because 16 minus 8 is 8. Now I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2, because that's my coefficient in front of my variable. So now I know that x is equal to negative, because the positive divided by negative is a negative 4. For yourself to check if you got that. If not, just make sure you find your mistake and correct it. So you're good to go for independent practice. Those are the last problems we're going to do together. Independent practice is on your own, and make sure it's completed. A filled in worksheet's a +5 on your paycheck. If it's not completed, then it will be a lunch detention. So make sure you're working hard the whole time, and good luck.